If you watch this video all the way through to the very end and take action, your life will change forever. I say that because the things that I'm going to talk about in this video are the exact same things that allowed me to achieve my dream life by the time I was 21 years old. And that freedom is really where the success comes in what I've been able to do. And without the things I talk about in this video, I would have never been able to do any of this. And having done all these things, it was almost guaranteed that I saw my success. But how? It's not like I just got lucky and ended up here, and chances are that you probably won't get lucky and just happen to stumble across success either. There are ideas, concepts, and values that you need to understand and master in order to achieve your dream life. So grab a notebook and get ready, because this video is going to be the start of your new beginning. First off, we have what I like to call C and E. We're going to start with C and then we'll move on to E. So what C stands for is clarity. What clarity means is having mental clarity. For a lot of my early years, I remember trying to get started in business, but not having any clarity or any real mental focus on something in specific. I was kind of just throwing my hands out there, casting a bunch of different nets, trying a bunch of different things for a short amount of time. And when you're just throwing so many nets out there, it is very, very hard to see clearly what you need to put your focus on and what's going to give you the highest return. So clarity is one of the biggest values and one of the biggest things you need to focus on, because if you focus on your clarity and if you focus on making sure that your thoughts are the things that you actually want to do, the things that you actually believe, you're going to get way further in life, and a lot of your anxiety will be very, very reduced. One of the biggest causes of feeling anxious or stressed out is just having no clarity in life and not knowing where you're going or where you're headed at all. But luckily, there's an easy way to fix this. As I went along in business, I started to correlate my overall headspace clarity with the amount of money I was making. The more clarity I had in my life, the more money I was making, and it would literally work on a linear graph just like that. So I understand the importance of this, and that's why I'm sharing it. And a little tip for you to get started seeing more clarity in your life is to just spend more time alone. When you spend time with yourself, you start to develop clarity on who you are. And developing clarity on who you are is what develops the clarity on what you want to become and what you want your life to look like. For my meditation time, I actually use an app called Headspace. This is not a paid promotion, but Headspace, if you're seeing this, definitely hit me up because I love your guys' services. But if you don't want to buy the subscription, just go on YouTube and type in Headspace 10-minute meditation. So what E is, you guys, is environment. And not necessarily meaning what place you're physically in, as in like location, but actually just meaning who's really around you, what kind of people are around you, who makes up your environment. Is your environment filled with toxic things, or is your environment filled with good things? If you take a look at your friends or the people who hang around you most and you look at what they're doing, you're probably doing something similar or the exact same in most cases. There's this thing that people say, but it's more so just a straight fact, that your income is the average of the 5 people you hang out with most. So go ahead and think real quick about the 5 people who you hang out with the most and average out their income. And then if that income is the same as your income, you obviously know that your environment does impact you a lot. You guys can see this in the decisions you make and the things that you do on a daily basis. So how do you do this? First thing I would do, if you want to get control of your environment and make sure you're in a good one, is just take a second to sit back and assess your environment. What I mean by this is just simply take a second and think about who you're hanging with, who you're around, what positive and what negative impacts they have on you. You could even write down a list. I did this when I was struggling to get my environment right, and it really helped me. I wrote out everybody who was around me and the positives and negatives of each person, and then decided who I should keep in my life and who I probably should, start drifting away from a little bit more. And this is not a bad thing to do. A lot of people think that that sounds fake, or that sounds like I'm cutting people off who I love just because of business. But really, that's not what it is, you guys. What that actually is ensuring that you're going to get to where you want to be, because every time you say yes to something, you're saying no to something else. So every time you say yes to hang out with that person who you might not think is that beneficial to have around, you are saying no to somebody else who might be super beneficial to have around you and be in your life. So now, you guys, I want to talk about the next concept, which is the RC concept. R stands for roadmap and C stands for car. First, we'll start by breaking down the roadmap. What a roadmap is essentially you planning out a map or a route for how to get where you want to be in life. And the biggest way that it helps you out is a way that most people don't think. It doesn't help you out because it gives you a map to follow. It just helps you out because it gives you motivation. Rarely ever is your roadmap going to actually be the route that you take or the route that ends up happening. You'll lay out out 1,000 directions, but in the business world and overall just trying to pursue something different, you'll understand that your road actually looks like this, and it's nearly impossible to draw a map for it. But what it does do is give you motivation. It gives you a reason to wake up, and it gives you a reason to keep going. When you write out a roadmap, you understand where you're trying to go, or you at least have a point that you're trying to get to. You're not just going through life aimlessly, just willy-nilly, not doing anything seriously, or not really being beneficial to yourself or driving yourself towards a certain point. Success is all about identifying where you want to get and getting there. Non-successful people identify where they want to get, and then they make excuses for why they weren't able to get there. For me, I have some really big goals, some of which are to change the current school system, which is going to take a lot of money and probably my whole entire life. But the reason that is my goal is because I feel like if I did that for society, I would leave more on this earth than I took from it. And that is my overall goal, is to provide more while I'm here on this earth than I ever take from it. And I feel like that should be everybody else's too. I actually have a book that I made that's on Amazon. I'll throw up a little screenshot. And basically it's just a book where you write down your goals every single day, in the morning and at night. This is something I've done for a really long time, because when I write down a roadmap, I like to make sure I hit it. And if I write down my roadmap in the morning and at night every single day, it's literally the first thing I think about when I wake up and the last thing I think about before I go to bed. So it's a pretty good way to make sure that it is in the front of your mind always, which is exactly where it should be. So a roadmap's nice and everything, but if you just have a roadmap and have no car, there's no way you're gonna get anywhere. So you guys, I'm gonna talk about the second part of this RC concept, and that is the car. So what the car means and symbolizes in this case is actually what you're doing in order to push yourself further on that roadmap. You need to identify yourself some type of vehicle that's gonna help you get there. Just writing down your roadmap on a piece of paper and simply only doing that is not enough to put you anywhere further on that journey or get you anywhere further along that road. You guys need to actually pick a car or a vehicle to take. For me, that first car was dropshipping, and Shopify dropshipping is really what ended up changing my life long term. But for you, it could be anything. It could be affiliate marketing, photography, being a YouTuber. It could be whatever, you guys. You just have to have some sort of car that's driving you. And that car could also change along your journey. As you're moving up your roadmap, you might change vehicles every once in a while, but you need to make sure that you're always in a vehicle, because if you're not in a vehicle, you're gonna get left behind and you're ultimately gonna get caught up in traffic, and that's gonna cause you to take a lot longer to hit the goal or do the things in life that you really want to do. So make sure you always are in a car and just roll with something. If you have a roadmap and a car to drive on that roadmap, you are in such a great spot to achieve your success. But if you mix that with the next thing I'm gonna talk about, you are almost guaranteed to see long-term success in life. That next thing that I wanna talk about is cap. And no, you guys, not the kind of cap that you're used to with a bunch of people just showing fake results on social media trying to get you to buy a program. What I mean by this type of cap is CAP, which stands for Consistent Action Plan. What a consistent action plan is a plan of attack. It's essentially your battle plan. It's the plan that you take with you along the roadmap with your vehicle. You have the road, you have your vehicle, and then you have your plan. Because without a plan, you're just driving aimlessly and you're never actually gonna get anywhere that's worth anything. You're just gonna keep going straight. I truly believe success is an ongoing thing, but there's definitely a level you hit in which you're financially free and able to think freely without having to worry necessarily about things relating to price. And that's the point that I'm talking about. In order to set a consistent action plan, you need to understand your roadmap and your car first, which is why we just talked about those two things. But once you do that, identify the consistent actions that you could do each day in order to move further along on that roadmap. As long as each and every day you're going one step further on your roadmap and you're not taking one step backwards, that's really the ultimate goal and really all you need to do. So your consistent action plan should consist of consistent actions that you could get done no matter what day it is or no matter how you're feeling, and stick to them. The real foundational consistent action plan that I personally have, just so you guys can get an idea of what this looks like, I wake up and I write down my goals every single day, first thing when I get up. And then as soon as I get up, the first thing that I do is also handle all of my hardest tasks. So I try to handle all the hardest things for the day. And then also write down one lesson that I learned. As long as I do those two things in the morning and in the night, I'm pretty much good to go. And that has always guided me in the right direction. The reason I recommend you making it simple like this and not making it 20, 30 different things is because if you make it 20 or 30 things, there's gonna come a day where you have something going on and you're not able to do those 20, 30 things, and it's gonna throw you off track. When you have a simple, consistent action plan like I do, this is something that I could be insanely consistent with no matter what day it is, and building that nice feeling associated with consistency consistency is really what you need to do in order to rewire your brain to be on track to achieve your dream life. The last thing I want to talk about is what I call the 365-day rule, or the 1-year rule. Essentially what this is meaning that you commit to try things for at least a year before you give up on them or move on to something new if it's not working, if it means something important to you. If it's something like achieving an amazing body and working out and getting super ripped, or if it's something like making a lot of money and changing your life forever, or starting a business that changes the world, you have to understand that it takes a massive amount of consistency to even try to do that business. Before you even know if there's a chance of it working, it takes a lot of consistency to even get to that point. And that's why if you apply this 1-year rule to really anything that's super important to you in life, you will long-term see a lot of success. Obviously, I don't dedicate my whole life to that one thing for a year, but it could be something as simple as this: waking up and working out in the morning. I do that for a whole entire year, and then I see my results at the end of the year and decide if I want to keep going or if I want to stop moving forward towards that thing. The reason this 1-year rule works is because it gives you way enough time to fail multiple times, test multiple things, and maybe even succeed multiple times within your first year in whatever it is that you're doing. Real quick, you guys, I just wanted to say, if you do want to stay connected with me and the whole entire community of other entrepreneurs, make sure you join my free mini academy linked in the description. As soon as you watch the first video inside of that academy, it'll show you how to access my free Discord as well, so you guys can talk directly with me and the rest of the community. I also host literally free coaching sessions every single day inside of my free Discord chat, so you guys can literally talk to me live every single day of the week by just clicking the link below in the description and joining the Discord chat.